another contender enters the box office arena for the Twilight crown. You're watching Beyond the Trailer's review of the Mortal Instruments, City of Bones.
What is it?
You didn't see that? Oh God, this isn't happening.
What are you looking at?
What can I see when no one else can?
You're not a mundane.
What's a mundane?
Someone from the human world.
Well, if not a human, then what am I?
Half angel, half human. Beings of immense power.
Red Riding Hood, Beautiful Creatures, The Host, all of them have tried to capitalize on the success of Twilight and failed. Only The Hunger Games has succeeded, but one success is all it takes for other Hollywood producers to keep dreaming. But to hear author Cassandra Clare tell it, Clary Frey would never have made it to the silver screen if not for Bella Swan and Katniss Everdeen. Claire, who got her start writing fan fiction much like 50 Shades of Grey's E.L. James, said she had a difficult time shopping her popular Mortal Instruments series around Hollywood pre-Twilight. The studios referenced Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, the biggest names in young adult fiction at the time, and told Claire she'd have to let them make Clary a boy in order to get a movie deal. But thanks to Stephanie Meyer, studios no longer believe audiences aren't interested in films starring a teenage girl. However, that doesn't mean a female literary heroine guarantees you a box office win now either. Red Riding Hood, Beautiful Creatures, and The Host all had female leads after all. Furthermore, Lily Collins, daughter of Phil, already has one strike against her as she lost the 2012 Snow White War to Kristen Stewart. That puts tremendous pressure on this guy, J.B. Campbell Bower, to be super hot. And the odds are against him as fans of the novel were none too pleased when he landed the gig. Thankfully, the movie has some serious cable TV cred, with Game of Thrones' Lena Headey, The Tudors' Jonathan Rhys-Meyers, and Mad Men's Jared Harris. Plus, Sony has enough faith in the relatively cheap flick, just $60 million to produce, that they've already tentatively greenlit the sequel, City of Ashes, with Collins Bower and director Howard Zwart attached. So, is Clary the next Bella or Katniss, or the next, well, nobody remembers their names, do they?
I was actually really surprised by this film. It's pretty good, and in some places I'd say it's very good, specifically the first half. I had some big problems with the second half of the movie, which I'll get to in a moment, but this first half was very impressive. So impressive that I can totally understand why Sony would decide to tentatively greenlight a sequel already, because it's just quality filmmaking across the board. Now, my biggest problem with teen genre romance is that I often feel, well, this is just a CW show that they've put up on the big screen. And I think this movie seemed that way from the trailers, which therefore I think do the movie a disservice. But it was actually very cinematic when I was sitting there watching it. Specifically because not only did they have good set design and world building and a good color palette, they made an effort to make a movie, not just set the camera down and have 3-point lighting like a soap opera, but also they really spent some quality money on special effects. And the budget for this movie is low, so it's great to see someone make a movie that's fiscally responsible or financially responsible. But there's a sequence about 20 minutes into the film that's very special effects heavy, that surprised me because there hadn't been a lot of special effects up until that point, and it was very well done. I guess they spent their money where they needed to, but that's where this film kind of definitely won me over, where I was like, okay, you're taking this seriously, I'm going to take it seriously. And so that was good. The special effects were good. I thought the script was very good. I'm not familiar at all with these novels, yet I was able to pick up the world very quickly and understand the characters and what the stakes were. I also thought it was clever, and the novel does this obviously, but it was done well here as well, that they take like the artistic subculture, underground subculture in Brooklyn, and they kind of say, well, you don't know how alternative that really is. These are werewolves and witches and demon hunters and angels, and they sell it. It works. It totally works. I mean, it got a few laughs sometimes at the screening that I was at, but they totally sell it, and it kind of makes you believe that this world could exist right now. It's almost like True Blood, the Brooklyn version, like a Brooklyn spin-off. And even to the way that they depict a lot of the characters, they have a lot of different diversity in terms of gender and race, but also sexuality in this movie, which I thought was an interesting choice, and they do it very respectfully and seriously. But at the same time, it does seem, if you are a True Blood fan, I watched True Blood, there are some similarities that sometimes come a little too close to home. Like, you're like, really, are all werewolves in a motorcycle gang? Is that like a werewolf universal truth? And I think that it maybe would have been nice for them to do something different, but that's nitpicking because I enjoyed the film while I was watching it, and they have a cool idea about vampires and witches, and it all works in the same world quite well. I think True Blood is this is almost like the young adult version of True Blood, but very close to adult, though. There are some very adult themes addressed here. So the script was good. The directing was good. It wasn't like anything particularly noteworthy, but I think the director did a good job of making it very cinematic, as I said, and assembling a good picture. Set design, fantastic. Again, helped a lot with the world building. Although there were points where I was like, wow, that is almost a direct ripoff of Harry Potter, of Hogwarts, especially the institute that they go to. The sick ward seems just right out of Harry Potter, as does there's this bridge that they're crossing, going across, and you just almost have a feeling of deja vu to the Harry Potter films. But also I want to touch on the acting, which was very good. Lily Collins, I thought she was one of the best things in Mirror Mirror. I think that she did a good job there, even though I wasn't crazy about the film. And she's very good here. Much better than Kristen Stewart. I think she really did a nice job, and she had to sell a lot of tough moments. Also, Jamie Campbell Bower, the male lead. I know a lot of people, fans of the books, were upset when he was cast. I think he was great. I think he did a really nice job. Obviously, if somebody doesn't read the books, I can't speak to whether or not I think he was miscast from that point of view. But, he has a good androgynous look, which plays into, a lot of the different gender elements addressed in the film. I think that he has a strong presence on screen. He seems very sure of himself, which is unusual, I think, for a young actor. He doesn't do the teen angst thing. He's kind of like, I guess you would say, the Eric Northman the British Eric Northman of the film, and he does that well. He was very good. I liked him a lot, and they make me want to see more of this film. So what I didn't like was that about halfway through the film, it suddenly became clear that they weren't going to end the story or any threads really by the end of this film in particular. That you were really committing to the long haul, and that lack of closure and not even working towards closure, I think ended up making the movie feel very long. You get very excited for the build-up, and then you start to realize that you're going to be watching this story for hours because you're going to have to go see sequels. And I think that was a bit of a mistake. And something else that colored my view of this film was an article that I read online about Joss Whedon on Entertainment Weekly, an interview that he did, and the interviewer said, "Well, how do you feel about all these, girl power, genre films, teen romance films, when you started the trend really with Buffy the Vampire Slayer?" And Joss Whedon was like, yeah, I liked that band before it was cool to like the band. But then he made a really good point where he said, Buffy was never a passive heroine. She made things happen. And now you really have movies, he said the genre is almost evolved, where you have choosing the boyfriend, the movie. And I thought he really hit the nail on the head there. So much so that even when a movie is well done like this, you can't help but have some regret that what happened to that strong female character, because as good as Lily Collins is, she is a very passive heroine, and her superpower is art. She even to the point where she has literally a magic pencil, and I can see that would be appealing to a lot of female fans, but for some other female fans who like the Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver, Angelina Jolie, Chloe Moretz roles, it's frustrating to see that things keep going that way. But you know what? I think that you can't really judge Mortal Instruments for that because it is so well done. And, not everybody is aggressive. There are different personality types. Lily Collins' character she isn't stupid. She's smart. And I think she's very, she is representative of a lot of women, just as Ellen Ripley is, and just as Hit Girl is. And I think that that's great. I think you want diversity in character on screen as well. So I was surprised by this film. I enjoyed it. I would see a second. And I think that if you like these kind of movies, you should definitely see it. If you're on the fence, just know that if this is on like an airplane or comes on demand, I think that you would enjoy it, especially if you're a comic book fan because of the world building. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. All right, so thank you for watching this review, and you can check out more episodes right now.